G'day, Falla here from Redback 1 on the combat setup. The reason why it's important for our students to understand how to perform a combat setup is so that they can be more efficient at being able to approach their piece of cover so that they can clear into their piece of cover while mounting the weapon on the approach, and they can also clear or identify targets of opportunity, especially if they're high percentage options that exist beyond their piece of cover, and be able to begin to target them during the approach. It makes us way more efficient at being able to present the weapon, mount it on the final stages as we wash off all the speed generated during the move from cover to cover, that as we approach our final piece of cover, the weapon is already mounted, we're starting to pick up sight alignment, safety catches are coming off if it's a pistol or a carbine that has one, and we're starting to acquire our sight package, engaging the technicality of the shot. If the shot is in fact a high percentage option, then that particular target or threat can be neutralised while on the move, no problem at all. However, if the shot is identified as, or the target is identified as a more technical or difficult shot or a low percentage option, then the operator sure enough has the opportunity to have the weapon already mounted, determining distance to the target and any other threats that exist around it on the approach. As he approaches the piece of cover, he can then either utilise that piece of cover correctly to engage that target or low percentage option from as a static platform. The drill that we use to encourage the students to learn this technique sees 5 series of barricades or cover or piece of cover fairly well lined up down the range with a piece of steel roughly about 7 to 10 yards beyond that piece of cover. Students need to move toward the piece of cover at speed, wash off all that speed, and be able to engage that high percentage option there, set the weapon up, engage it while on the move. At that point, pick up the speed, move as quick as possible to the next piece of cover, use that piece of cover on the approach, identify the threat that exists beyond it, and also engage that target using the setup on the approach as well. That continues all the way down the range, and if you look at the video toward the end of me performing the skill, there's one lone target that is outside of the range of shooting on the move. It's about 20 to 25 odd yards, where the operator is to prop, use the cover effectively, and take static, well-aimed shots onto that piece of steel, as it represents a low percentage option at that point. Also, another reason why it would present as a low percentage option is a factor of fatigue, that after moving at speed over 100 metres, having an elevated heart rate or respiratory rate would also be a factor of poor performance that we need to take into consideration. Therefore, combat breathing on the approach may well be required, or in between cover to cover, and particularly when we prop at that last piece to make sure we get good accurate hits. Shot placement is everything on all of these targets. So, just to recap there, the importance of the combat setup and shooting on the move is to be able to clear into our piece of cover. If you can't clear visually on the approach, we may need to physically occupy that piece of cover and clear into it, as well as clear obvious threats that exist beyond that piece of cover, or at least start to identify threats or potential threat areas that exist beyond our piece of cover. Already have the weapon set up and presented, so it makes us faster and more efficient at being able to engage those threats, and particularly when time is of the essence, or we're engaged in a time-sensitive task such as hostage rescue or active shooter or anything like that. So the setup drill is all about efficiency of movement and presenting the weapon, making sure that we can mount the weapon on the approach, clear obvious threats, and identify any technical shots that exist and shoot them from a stationary platform from cover. Hope that clears up the reasons why we teach the combat setup, and go ahead and practice it next time you're out at the range. Cheers.